Okay, hello guys. Happy New Year. Hi Jalen, how are you? Looks like there's not many today. Hello Lara. Hi guys. Welcome back to our week 1 of January class. Okay, yes, Happy New Year. I believe you guys are having your final soon, Should be. All right, here's the thing, guys. We won't be revising for anything for your finals. Okay, I don't know why, because that seems to be the syllabus for TDC. So instead, we will be jumping into Form 5. Hi, Gabriel, how are you? Happy New Year. Oh, you just done science exam today. Oh, okay. So how was it? How was it? Did you do okay? I hope so. I believe most of you guys are having it soon, okay? If not today. So, just in time lah, just in time. So, about that, I believe you have received your notes, your January notes by now, and you should see a new cover, right? You should see a new cover. And if you're getting my cover, finally, I look more like who I am instead of that me that looks like a fatty. I hate my old cover seriously. All right, so and if you look inside, it is straight away your Form 5 Chapter 1. So today we are jumping straight into this. Before I move on, guys, if you have anything to ask about your revision, if your science is coming soon and you want to ask me something, please feel free to ask. Okay, I can answer you, no problem. And if you want to WhatsApp me later, in case you want to ask me anything, please feel free to do so. Okay, don't be shy. Don't feel like you're bothering me or anything. No, you are not. So just go ahead and ask. I am here for a reason. Okay, right. Anyway, so you have to do science lab report. You mean for homework or for exam? For homework or for exam, or you mean the chapter? Oh, sorry, the question 10 one, the science lab reporting one. Okay. How to do that? Here's the thing. I don't know why, because Yiqing sets the syllabus. I don't know why is he not revising for that, but I believe we will do it soon. Okay, we will cover it, no worries. So Gabriel, if you need that from me, I do have a guideline on how to write that. You can WhatsApp me, I'll send it to you. See if it helps. Right, I compiled all the experiments in Form 4, not all but those that is possibly coming out. I already compiled it into one PDF file. You can WhatsApp me, I'll send it to you later. Okay, so guys, anyway, let's jump straight into chapter 1. Before I move on, there's a good news. Your Form 5 syllabus will be easier than your Form 4. I don't know that's what I feel you have 1 or 2 difficult chapters, but that's about it, and it will be quite a smooth sailing. I don't know this is a very subjective thing, okay? But for me, I personally think that Form 5 is slightly easier, right? You have no rubbish chapters like your chapter 1 to chapter 4, the blood pressure and BMI thing. No, none of that. Okay, so number 1, chapter 1, this is where we learn about microorganism. Okay, this is a very interesting chapter, also a very simple chapter. Yeah, it might look very difficult to study because it looks like there are so many things to memorize, but trust me, this is not. Okay, so today is more like an introductory class to your chapter 1, so I will not do too many things today. I will try to keep everything as simple as I can today. Okay, since most of you are having exam anyway. So number 1, world of microorganisms. So as you know, what are microorganisms? Microorganisms are tiny living things. All right, they are so small that you can only see them using a microscope. Right, I believe you learned this in Form 1. That feel weird looking thing. Okay, even the name feels weird. You have paramecium, you have amoeba, you have the Chlamydomonas, you have Spirogyra, you have Hydra, Euglena. Am I missing anything? Things like that, okay? So you get the point, right? So microorganisms, they are minute organism. English lesson, guys, this is pronounced as minute. You might say, sir, isn't this minute? When we use it to describe time, yes, it is pronounced as minute. But when we say something is really small, we say minute. The more you know, right? So they are minute organisms. That means they're very small, cannot be seen with the naked eye. So you have to use microscope to see them. Okay, so before I move on to the classes of microorganisms, let's talk something about normal flora. Okay, let's talk about this. Okay, what is a normal flora? Guys, do you know that currently as we speak, there are billions of microorganisms living on you and inside you? Do you know that? Case in point, in your gut, in your small intestine, in your stomach, in your large intestine, there are billions of microorganisms. And I am sure you have heard of the word probiotics. Have you? Have you? This is the thing that keeps selling you lah, right? When you watch those Yakult advertisement, Yakult, Vitagen, or some kind of yogurt stuff lah, they will say, oh, probiotics, okay? And then you're there scratching your head. What the hell are they? So guys, these probiotics, okay, before you freak out that you have microorganisms living inside of you or on you, they are the good ones, right? And these good microorganisms, we call it probiotics, or we call it flora, okay? Or we call it normal flora. That means, you know, flora and fauna, they are living inside you. It's sort of like a mutualism thing. You remember what is mutualism? You get benefit from them, they get benefit from you. You feed them with food, you give them shelter, you give them suitable temperature to live, and in return, they will digest things for you, they will fight infection for you. Guys, probiotics, they save you from nasty infections. I'll go into that, right? So normal flora refers to the microorganisms found in organisms, including humans and animals, which do not cause illness. These microorganisms, they will not make you sick. They are just there. Please, sir, can I stay here? I promise I'll work in return. So they live inside you. They work for you. They just make you healthier, right? This is why, if you remember chapter 9, or was it chapter 10 last year? You remember the 3 types of medicine we learned? Wow, it seems like yesterday, isn't it? I think it was like what, 2-3 months? Wow, shit. Time flies by, huh? Right. So we have 3 types of medicine, remember? We have analgesic, which is the painkiller. We have antibiotics, which kills your microorganism for you. And then you have psychotherapeutic. Right. I believe I told you this. Yes, probiotics is Yakult. Yes, correct. Right. Remember I told you this? Antibiotics, they don't care whether it's a good bacteria or a bad bacteria. They will just kill every freaking thing. Right? So that's why I always say, please, 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 for the love of God, do not eat antibiotics for no reason. They are not going to cure your flu. They are not going to cure dengue. They are not going to cure COVID. It's just a waste of time. You are killing all these good bacteria in your body and you will get sick even easier. Right? So educate yourself. So educate yourself. That's why I don't know about you lah. Most old people I see are those boomers. They love antibiotics one. They go clinic, they sure get antibiotics one. Please don't do it unless you need it. Right? So these, okay, you might say, sir, what the hell are all these names? Okay, what the hell is a Staphylococcus? What the hell is a Lactobacillus? These things are the species of probiotics living in you or on you, because you have some living on your skin, right? So Lactobacillus is the one you found in yogurt lah. Lactobacillus, right? The one in Yakult is the Lactobacillus lah. The real name is actually called Lactobacillus acidophilus. Wow, it's a mouthful, isn't it? Lactobacillus acidophilus. So don't care. We just call them probiotics, right? So these things they will, okay, okay, guys, you know where's your urethra? Do you know where's your urethra? Urethra is where you pee, right? It's where you pee. Do you know what is a UTI? Have you heard of UTI? This is more common among girls, right? This is called a urinary tract infection. That means sometimes when you pee, it hurts when you pee. That is a UTI, right? So what causes UTI? It is drink coconut water. Yeah, it helps. But you see, UTI, they are caused by bad bacteria growing in your urinary tract. Okay, in your urinary tract. So what should you do? You should drink more water, because when you pee, you flush out your you flush out your urinary tract. And if you always get UTI, because my sister is like that, if you always get UTI, if you go to the doctor, they will prescribe you probiotics, because these probiotics, they will grow inside your urethra. And this helps in getting rid of those pesky bacteria that makes you get UTI and that makes you sick. Not to say sick but you feel painful. It's painful when you pee so yeah, it's in the urethra, right? Janji guys, any openings your ear, your nose, your mouth, every part has microorganism living in it. So don't freak out, okay? They are the good ones. They are the good guys. So even your respiratory tract, the one you use to breathe, your trachea here, there's also good bacteria living there, right? And believe it or not, these will actually reduce your chance of getting COVID or recover from COVID. You see? So you see, you don't just eat antibiotics for no reason, because these cute little fellas right here, I mean, okay, they don't look exactly cute, but they are helping you, right? Even your skin has bacteria, but still, guys, you still need to shower, because you see, bacteria, right? Extra info for you. Bacteria, they don't like sunlight. They will live in dark and damp places. Places that are dark and wet. So usually where do they live? They will live in your ketiak, right? They will live under your armpit. This is why after you don't shower for, I don't know, a few hours, and you start to stink, right? Those body odor, it's all caused by bacteria. All right, that's why you need a deodorant. Okay, inside deodorant, they have ingredients that stop this bacteria from growing, so they don't get that smelly smell that, makes you smell sweaty. It makes you smell bad. All right, so same goes to clothes. When you wash your clothes, if it's rainy day, you don't dry your clothes enough, you'll also smell that smelly smell because of bacteria growing on your clothes, on your t-shirt. All right, but here are the good ones. Okay, here are the good ones. They will protect you from diseases. Okay, as you can see here, importance of normal flora. Why do we need them? Because they compete with pathogens. Okay, who are the pathogens? Pathogens are the ones that make you sick. If you remember, you learned this in Form 2 actually. So they compete with pathogens to obtain nutrients and prevent the formation of colonies of pathogens. Let's say you eat some bad bacteria inside your stomach. Your stomach has so many good bacteria that they just lose competition. The bad ones just lose competition and die. So you see, the more probiotics you have, okay, the better you are protected against, nasty diseases. That's why sometimes when you eat dirty food, you still won't get sick. Okay, that's the reason. So next, normal flora consists of bacteria that synthesize vitamin B12 and vitamin K. So these things they're actually done by your E. coli. Guys, have you heard of this? Do you know what's an E. coli? In short, this is called E. coli. Any of you heard of this? This thing is exclusively, not to say exclusively, they are almost certainly found in your large intestine. That's why your shit inside has E. coli, right? This E. coli, their job is to give you vitamin B12 and vitamin K. All right. So when they test drinking water, if they find E. coli in drinking water, it's a translation saying that you have shit in your water. Right? Because this thing is found in shit. It's found in your large intestine. So if you find it somewhere else, it's a very questionable it's very questionable, right? If you find E. coli in someone's mouth, then well, not gonna judge, but why do you have E. coli in your mouth though? Right, anyway, So this thing will give you vitamin B12 and K lah. So number 3, normal flora stimulates the growth of body tissues such as colon tissue and tissue in the digestive tract, so that you don't get colon cancer easily. Guys, do you know what is colon cancer? Do you know what is colon cancer? Large intestine cancer. It's very common, not to say very common lah, but it's getting more and more common nowadays. The third most common cancer, if I'm not mistaken, the third most common cancer in the world, right? It could be, you could reduce the risk of getting colon cancer by getting your probiotics. And of course, normal flora stimulates the production of antibody that fights pathogen and diseases. So you see, they are all very good. What's the most common cancer? Good question. If I'm not mistaken, it should be lungs. Lung cancer should be the most common, right? Second, I think it's breast. And then third, I think it's colon. Especially common among Chinese. Okay, this is not being racist, but Chinese, we don't eat a lot of spices, so that might Chinese eat a lot of stir fry stuff, so that might contribute to colon cancer. Because Chinese, we like to eat this thing called wok hei. Any of you heard of what is this? You know what is wok hei? In a way, it's burnt food. Okay, burnt food. Yeah, and because of the smoke and vape too. Yeah, that causes lung cancer. And colon cancer is very common among Chinese because of this wok hei. Okay, what is wok hei, by the way? If you ask any Chinese, okay, I'm okay towards this lah. But most Chinese, old generation Chinese, they love to cook their food using strong flame, and this strong flame will kind of char their food or burn their food a little. Chinese want that burnt food smell. Not fully burnt as in they are black, but they are slightly burnt. And when you have this, and coupled with the fact with a lot of oil, you put a lot of oil. If your food is very oily and it smells a little bit burnt, that is the wok hei. We Chinese call wok hei. If you watch Uncle Roger, he will say one. So this wok hei thing is a very big thing among Chinese. If you don't have wok hei, your restaurant is going to fail, because they will say, this restaurant not nice or no wok hei one. So I mean, it's nice to eat, but it's also nice for you to get colon cancer. That's why colon cancer is very common among Chinese. Not saying very common, more common. Okay, so try not to overcook your food, right? Anyway, so this flora thing, by the way, it's not coming out in exam. Mostly they don't ask this in exam. This is more like a read for fun thing. If you want to read for fun lah. If you don't care, never mind, we move on. Right, so guys, microorganism, let's jump straight to the point. This is very important. Microorganism has 5 classes. Okay, 5 classes. And what are they? I'm sure you have seen some before. Do you know what's a fungi? Fungus, you know fungus? Guys, give me a moment. Sorry, it's really hot, so I need to close my door and I need to switch on my aircon. Right, so let's continue. What is a fungi? Do you know what's a fungi? You know what's fungi? When you think of fungi, you should think of mushrooms, right? Mushrooms. Things that grow, you know bread mold? You know mold that grows on wall, moldy wall, those mold, they are mostly fungi. All right, so fungi. And of course, you have algae. Right, about this thing, right? Some pronounce it as algae. I just find it funny because gay. As in, why are you gay? Right, so I don't read it as algae, I read it as algae. Okay, algae. Because it sounds small, British, and sounds more sophisticated, right? So I call it algae. Right, so what is algae? Algae is your mini plant. Mini plant, tiny bitty plants, okay, itty bitty plants. So you will see them in ponds or mostly water lah. They are green. The point is they are green. They are plants, right? And then protozoa. Okay, maybe you have not heard of this before. You have not heard of this before. Protozoa, they are our closest cousin. Among these 5 microorganisms, protozoa is the most similar to human cells lah. I mean, they don't look like humans, but their cells look like our cell. So this is our closest cousin. Think of them as mini animals. Okay, so you have your mini plant called algae, you have mini animals called protozoa. Okay, and of course, I'm sure you heard of this. This is the biggest family among all the microorganisms, also the oldest living. That would be your bacteria. Okay, bacteria. Those that you've seen up there, these are all bacteria. Bacteria. Right? You know, bacterial infection. So when you cut yourself, if it is a very deep cut and you don't wash your wound, you will get bacterial infection. And the last but not least, I'm sure you know what is this. Guys, what is this? This is your virus. Do you know what is a virus? Do you know what's a virus? Virus is the smallest microorganism in the world. They basically cause illnesses. They make you sick. Okay, not to say all, most of the disease you get, most of the infectious disease is caused by virus. Dengue is caused by virus, and of course, COVID is caused by virus. Your flu, you know, when you catch a cold and you get flu, it's caused by virus. Most of the time when you get sick, it's caused by virus. All right. And the fun fact about virus is many scientists, guys, pay attention here. Many scientists, they actually don't consider virus as a living thing. Right? If you get what I mean, most scientists, they don't consider virus as a living thing. Okay, why? Because you see, to become a living thing, you need to fulfill 3 criteria. You need to eat. Okay, you need to eat, you need to consume something. Okay, you need nutrition, and then you need to excrete, as in you pee and you shit, you need to excrete, you need to get rid of waste product. And number 3, you need to learn, you need to know how to reproduce. That means to produce baby. All right. So virus, they don't do all 3. Virus doesn't eat. Virus doesn't excrete. Virus, they can reproduce, but not by themselves. They need to attach to a host. Do you know what is a host? If COVID virus enters your body, you are the host. They will use your body to reproduce. They will borrow your facility to reproduce. So technically speaking, they don't fulfill all 3 criteria of being a living thing. So they are actually not so much of a living thing, right? So that's why you see, virus is a very hard thing to tackle. So what is a virus then? A virus is just a protein, a very small size protein, a protein that could potentially make you sick and kill you. Right? This is a very headache thing to study. Virus is a very headache thing to study because they're very complicated. And then the fact is they are very small. Virus is tiny. They are really small. Compare this, guys. Compare this. If a bacteria is this big, a virus is this small. Right? That means virus can actually go inside a bacteria and make them sick. You don't think that virus only makes us sick. Virus will make bacteria sick as well. Virus can make anything sick. So some virus, they actually infect bacteria. You see, microorganism infecting another microorganism. What the hell is this? So you see, virus is a very, very headache thing. It's a very, very small, too tiny to study. All right, but they are not small enough to not cause you any disease. They will cause you many, many nasty diseases. Okay, if you're okay with this, all right, so these are the 5 classes here. Okay, let me repeat. You have your fungi, okay, your mold and the mushrooms. You have algae, you have your mini plant, you have protozoa, mini animal, you have bacteria, the oldest living, and you have viruses, the not living thing. So there you go, 5 classes here, 5 classes of microorganism. And of course, you can't study them all. You can't study them all. Of course, different microorganism, they have different family. Like virus, you have many different virus family. You have rotavirus family. You have rhinovirus family. You have coronavirus family. Do you know coronavirus is a family? You don't say, I got coronavirus. What type though? Okay, even you see COVID virus, it has like so many variants already. Which variant are you? Oh, I got COVID. Which variant? Did you get the Alpha strain? Did you get the Beta strain? Did you get the Delta strain? Did you get the Omicron strain? And then currently there are 2 new ones from China because China tourists is coming in. There's the XBB strain, and then that's the BA something something strain. You see? So even one family is complicated enough to study. Right? You can't just study them all because it's just not possible. Right. Anyway, so let's jump to the first one first. Let's talk about fungi first. Okay, fungi or fungus. Okay, fungus. So when you think of fungi, think of your mushroom, think of your bread mold, like I said, think of do you know what's a black fungus? Guys, do you know what is a black fungus? Have you seen a black fungus before? It's a Chinese thing. Whenever Chinese they cook soup, this is the black fungus. Seen this before? We call it mu. In Mandarin, it's called mu. This thing, you see Chinese they make soup, they make some kind of herbal soup. You know the wine chicken, they will have this thing. They will put this black fungus. I'm not a big fan of it. It tastes crunchy, a little bit soft and crunchy. Okay, kind of tastes like mushroom lah. Okay, because they are the same thing. And of course you have, you know what is your cordyceps? Cordyceps. This is also a fungus, right? This is a Chinese herb. Hey, this thing is very expensive, you know. This is called dongcong xia cao. You go to any Chinese herbal store, they will sell this thing. So they look like worms. Okay, they are not worms. They are a fungus. It's called cordyceps fungus. So I don't know lah. They say this is very good for health lah, but it's really expensive though. Right. Anyway, so this is a fungus, your fungi. So anyway, you have. Let's look at the size. Let's look at the size. Okay. You have 2 types of fungus. You have macroscopic fungi. Okay, macro means big. That means the big fungi, like mushrooms, right? Like mushrooms. Fungi that you can see using your eyes. That is your macroscopic fungi. You know what it is? Guys, do you know what is macro? You know your camera has this thing called macro mode when you want to take something really close that they look big. So macro lah. So macroscopic fungi. So and of course you have your microscopic fungi. Micro means small. Okay, micro. Do you know what's a micro penis? That means you have a small pee lah. Small pee. So micro lah. Microscopic fungi. So what are they? You have your yeast and milker. Right, what is a milker? Milker is your bread mold lah. Okay, bread mold. You will see this thing on bread. Okay, if you don't wash your hand, if you wash your hand and your hand is wet and you put it in your bread, and then a few days later, you will see your loaf of bread, they start to grow this black or white color thing on it. That's the milker lah, right? So do you know what is yeast? Guys, pay attention to yeast. This chapter, right? This chapter, in exam, they love to ask about yeast. Almost every exam, you will see the word yeast. Okay, what is yeast for, guys? Anyone? Can someone tell me what is yeast for? You should know. You should know. Yeast is used in 2 industries, right? Yes, number 1 for bread. Bread making uses yeast. What else? There's one more. There's one more. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry. What is it? Right? There are many politicians in Malaysia calling the government to ban it. What is it? Anyone? 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 Okay lah, I give you a hint lah. This is a very big hint. No, not drugs. It's forbidden for the Muslims. I mean, technically it's a drug lah. Okay. Yes, it's alcohol. Right? Very good. So yeast is used in bread making and is used in alcohol, right? Because they will do something called fermentation. Do you know what is fermentation? It's like making kimchi. You all know kimchi? It's like making kimchi. It's like making the natto. Natto. You know natto? The thing eaten by the Japanese. The fermented bean. Yes, the smelly fermented bean. Yes. Okay, so yeast is used to make bread, right? Because yeast will produce carbon dioxide and they will raise the dough. So your bread will be very fluffy, and they are used to make alcohol. Okay, I'll talk about this next time, but here let me just say a little bit lah. So how does yeast work? Yeast, they will ferment glucose into ethanol. Do you know what is ethanol? Ethanol is alcohol lah. So janji guys, janji anything with glucose, technically you can put yeast inside and turn them into alcohol, right? So this is why you have so many types of alcohol. Okay, let me ask you, if you ferment rice, if you take rice, you put yeast inside and you cover it, what do you get? What do you get? Oh, wow, that's very good. Yes, you get sake, you get rice wine. Do you know what is a rice wine? Chinese is very famous for it. And even in Korea, Korea, they have something called makgeolli. Are they? Makgeolli. This is their rice wine. So we have our Chinese rice wine, we have Japanese rice wine, we have Korean rice wine. Yes, mijiu, correct. So this is your rice wine. Okay, what happens if I use malt? You know malt? Mai, xiao mai. If I use malt, if I take malt, I put yeast, what kind of wine do I get? Or you can use barley too. What kind of alcohol will you get? This thing is in Western one. You see, you don't find this kind of alcohol in Asia. I mean, nowadays you got lah, but last time, a few hundred years ago, in Eastern country here, we drink rice wine. But for Western country, what do they drink? They use malt, and then they will ferment this malt. When you ferment malt, what do you get? You will get beer. You see, so beer is made from malt. That's why countries that produces a lot of malt, they have their own beer. Belgium has their own beer, and of course, Denmark has their own beer, and of course, not forgetting the Germans lah. Okay, the Germans, they are. Do you know these guys? Germans, they are very famous for making their beer. They have something called Oktoberfest. Hello, do you know what's Oktoberfest? What is Oktoberfest? October is when they harvest their beer. So that's why you have Oktoberfest. It's when beer becomes cheap and they sell it everywhere. 1 pint for like what? €1. Hey guys, do you know in Europe, beer is dirt cheap. Cheap as in teh ice limau price. You go Mama, right? Teh ice limau is like what? $2, right? So same thing. You go Europe, it's €2 per beer. So drinking beer there is like drinking teh ice limau here. It's even cheaper than Milo. I mean, if you don't convert lah, because you use their salary and you drink their beer, and you use your salary here and you drink teh ice limau, right? Anyway, so this is your beer. Okay, so as I said lah, any glucose you can turn them into alcohol. So what about grapes? Okay, one more last question. What about grapes? When you ferment grapes, what do you get? Yes, you get wine. Good, that's very good. That's why you see grapes has two color, right? You have the purple grapes, red grapes. You have the white grapes. That's why you have red wine and you have white wine. Okay, I'll talk about this next time. Yeah, and of course pink lah. Okay. Anyway, I can, guys, I can just go whole day about alcohol lah. Oh yeah, Moscato, yeah. I'm not really. It's not really my favorite lah because it tastes very girly. I'm okay with Sauvignon or Sauvignon Blanc. I love my wine. Okay, I love alcohol, especially like whiskey, cognac, those strong spirits lah. I'm a very big fan of alcohol. Okay, I can use 1 hour just to talk about alcohol. Okay. Anyway, I'm not gonna. This is a 16 PG class. No sex, no violence here, guys. Okay, let's keep it safe. So anyway, so this is your yeast. Okay, so anyway, so fungi, they have unicellular fungi. That means single cell fungi. You learn this in Form 1, right? Unicellular. And then you have multicellular fungi like your bread mold. Okay, so of course, this is your yeast and this is your bread mold. Nothing much to say here. And you know what? Don't beat me, guys. Don't beat me. What I said just now, all these they are not important. Okay, they are not coming out in exam. They are not important at all. Wow, sir, then you teach for what leh? For fun lor. For fun lor. I mean, technically speaking, I can finish this whole chapter in 1 day, but no need lah. I mean, you just came back from holiday. I'm sure these 2 days, you guys are blue as hell. Going back to school, so blue. Yeah, is it so good lah? Hey, 2 more weeks is Chinese New Year. You get 1 week break. Okay, and then I believe in February there's another 1 month break, right? Because of the SPM. Okay, so we chill. Okay, we chill. I believe your school is nowhere near here. By the time your school start your Form 5, I'm already in chapter 3. So that's why I chill a bit. So then we learn this for fun lor, just to chit chat with you a little bit. Okay, you see, aren't you interested in alcohol? Oh shit, it's raining. Okay, anyway, so this part not important. Okay, then what's important? To know about life, yes, exactly. Okay, maybe I can talk about philosophy next time. So these parts are not important. Then you might say, sir, then what's important? Okay, the important ones are these 3. Okay, nutrition, habitat, and reproduction. Basically means what do they eat, where do they live, and how do they make babies. That's all we are interested about. Their shape lah, their types lah, whatever, all these they are none of our concern. I mean, you can read about them lah, but I certainly don't care. So let's talk about nutrition. Before I move on, let's talk a little bit about nutrition, because for every of these 5, we need to learn their nutrition, we need to learn their reproduction, and we need to learn their habitat. We need to learn all. So for nutrition, right, there are generally 3 types. First, you have making your own food. Some of the organism, like for example, algae, algae is green. You see, they are mini plants, right? So what do they do? Do plants eat? How do they feed themselves? How do plants feed themselves? They will do photosynthesis, right? Yes, that's good, right? Photosynthesis. So photosynthesis is one way of feeding yourself. It's one type of nutrition. So for the rest, if they can't do photosynthesis, they have 2 more choices. It's either they can be a parasite or they can be a saprophyte. Okay, so I'm sure you know what is a parasite lah. That means if they live on your body, they suck your nutrient. That is a parasite. Okay, this one easy. So what about a saprophyte? What is a saprophyte then? A saprophyte, okay, excuse me. A saprophyte is something that still lives on you, same as parasite, but they live on something dead. Okay, they live on something dead. All right, for example, if there's a tree, a living tree, something lives on it and suck their nutrient, that's a parasite. So in this case, Rafflesia, the Rafflesia flower, that Rafflesia is a parasite, because Rafflesia, they will grow beside a big tree and suck their nutrient. That is a parasite. But if you cut that tree down, you kill that tree, if the tree is dead, now you see mushrooms growing on it, that is a saprophyte, right? So the difference is parasite grow on a living thing. Saprophytes grow on a dead thing. So that's the difference. This is living and this is dead. Right? So that's the difference. But the similarity is they both live on someone lah. They both live on something lah. Okay, so anyway, so you have your saprophyte, you have your parasite. So saprophyte, they obtain nutrient from dead and decaying organisms, as I said. Parasitism, they obtain nutrients from their host. A host is a living thing. Do you know what is a host? A host is where microorganisms they live. If they live inside you, you are the host. You're hosting them, right? But here's the thing, guys. Here's the thing. Most fungi, most, not all, most fungi, they are saprophytes. Most. Because you see, yeast, they feed on glucose. Glucose is dead. Bread mold, they feed on the bread. Bread is also a dead thing, right? So they are all saprophytes. So you might say, then, sir, got parasites on me? Got fungi as parasites on me? God. If you look at, skin disease, do you know ringworm? Some skin disease like ringworm, like skin diseases lah. Okay, most skin diseases, they are caused by fungi, right? Those are the parasite ones. They will live on your skin and then they will take your nutrients, so you become red and itchy. You grow rashes lah. So that's why you need medication to kill them. Okay, so pretty much it. So as you can see here, you don't see photosynthesis here. There's no green fungi, right? Maybe there are some very rare cases, but as far as I'm concerned, as far as we are concerned here, you don't see green color fungi. They cannot make their own food. No fungi will do photosynthesis. Okay, if they do, that will be really weird. You will see a green color yeast, and you put them under the sun, they will grow. No, okay, it doesn't work like that. So habitat, since they don't do photosynthesis, right? Fungi, just think of mushroom. Where do they live? They live in damp and dark and moist places. They don't like sunlight, so you don't see them. All right, this is why if you look at most mold on clothes, if you see clothes, right, you see, if you don't dry your clothes properly, you will start to see those black spots on your clothes, isn't it? This is the mold. Right? If you dry your clothes under the sun, you will not see this, because how can they grow under the sun? No. So you will usually see this if you don't wash your clothes in a clean way, you don't put them under the sun, and you don't put them under the sun. So if you dry your clothes under the sun, you won't see this thing. Never. Right? Never. So there you go. There you go. And sometimes you even see molds on walls. Especially if you have a leak, if you have a leaky wall, okay, some kind of pumping leakage, there you see the mold. This is the mold. And if you don't give them sunlight, they will just grow. Right? So as I said, habitat, fungi, they will grow at any dark or moist places. Right? As long as they have no sunlight, as long as they have enough water, they will thrive. They will grow very well. Just like mushroom lah. If you have been to a mushroom farm before, there's one in Genting. Okay, mushroom farm. There you go. This is a mushroom farm. So if you look at the mushroom farm, can you see they are dark and damp, dark and moist? You don't really see light here. I mean, got a little bit lah. You don't really see light here. They're really dark, and then they are very humid inside. So that's why they grow. Okay, guys, growing mushrooms is actually quite a lucrative business. Next time you wanna earn big bucks, when you become a mushroom farmer, who knows, right? Anyway, so next, reproduce. So how do they make babies? Right, there are two ways for them to do so. In terms of asexual, do you know what is asexual? Asexual means you make baby with yourself. There's no sex. We do sexual, they do asexual. So for most fungi, they will do asexual reproduction by doing spore formation. Do you guys remember what is a spore? Do you remember what is a spore? You usually find spores underneath a mushroom. That means if you have a mushroom like this, okay, at the bottom of the mushroom, you will see the spore. So they will do spore formation, right? And sometimes they can choose to do sexual. You see, Amazing. They want to do A-sex also can. They want to do sexual also can. So they will do sex by doing conjugation. The methods of sex is called conjugation. They look like this. You see, they're like, this is they're having sex. This is Brad Moe having sex. Okay, don't laugh. They're having more sex than you. Oof. Okay, so this is their way of having sex. So you see, they have choices. One is either they can do A-sex by having spore formation, or they can do sex. Up to them. Usually they don't do sex unless the condition is very favorable. That means there's plenty of food, there's plenty of water, and there's no sunlight. Okay, very optimal for growth. Only they will do sexual. Okay, so there's one exception though. There's one exception. Okay, kindly put a star here. There's one exception here though. Like yeast, you see yeast, they don't do both. Yeast, they don't do spore formation, and they don't do conjugation. Instead, they will do budding. Budding. Hey guys, you learned this in Form 1, you remember? You have budding and spore formation. You remember? You in that reproduction chapter, you have 5 asexual reproduction. You have spore formation, you have budding, you have binary fission, you have regeneration, and then you have vegetative reproduction. Remember? You have 5. But most likely you don't lah. What am I expecting? Okay, so so this is budding. Okay, what is it? Budding is basically they grow small babies. We call them buds. It's like a flower bud. So they grow into buds, and then they will just putuskan the bud, and then now you have new yeast. Right, so this is what happens in your bread. This is what happened in your bread. So this is why, okay, when you make bread, right? When you make bread, you just make the dough first. You use your flour and you make the dough first, and then you'll put yeast inside. You put yeast inside, and then if you look at bakeries, if you have been to a bakery before, you will just see them let the dough there for a few hours. Do you know that? Do you know that you cannot just knead the dough and then you immediately put it into an oven? It doesn't work like that. You have to let it sit. This thing is called resting. This thing is called resting. Okay, let's talk about some culinary terms. Okay, let's talk about some culinary terms because my wife loves to cook. Okay, my wife loves to cook. Do you know what is resting? Have you heard of what is resting? Not that resting, not you resting. Do you know what does it mean when you rest your food? Okay, yes, to let the dough rise, correct. And sometimes, okay, if you're a big fan of eating steak, I mean, I can't because of religious purpose. If you eat steak, or yes, that's very good. Yes, wow, Gabriel, you know. Okay, why do we rest meat? Because we want to keep it moist, right? If you pan fry a piece of chicken, you don't just take it out of the pan and then immediately you start cutting it. Your chicken will lose the juice. It will lose the moisture. Your chicken will become very dry, and it tastes like cardboard, right? So whenever you are cooking, especially if you are cooking very expensive steak, okay, like if you are cooking Kobe, if you are cooking Wagyu, after you cook the beef, you need to let it sit there for maybe a few minutes before you cut it. That is what we call resting. So 10 minutes. Wow, Gabriel, you're a foodie, huh? You're a foodie, huh? I see. Because my wife is a big foodie. Okay, her specialty is cooking lah. So every time I want to cut, she'll say let it rest first. You need to let it rest. Right. Anyway, so by the way, do you eat your pasta al dente? You know, my wife is very particular about this. Okay, that means if you cook any noodle, you don't cook it fully soft. You need to leave a little bit of hardness in it. That is what we call al dente, right? If my wife goes out and order pasta, and if the pasta is not al dente, she will definitely send it back. Please cook it again because it's not al dente. So anyway, so why do you let the dough rest? Because when you rest, the yeast will start producing carbon dioxide, and this carbon dioxide will raise the dough like a balloon. It will blow up the dough like a balloon. right? And then when you put it in the oven, it will kill the yeast, and then now you will get that bread texture. If you've seen bread before, okay, you've seen bread before. If you look inside the bread, you see all these holes, right? You see all these holes. These holes are caused by the carbon dioxide, right? So the longer you let it rest, the fluffier it becomes. Hey, same goes to roti canai. Hey, roti canai, they do this too, you know. The dough, if you have seen them making roti canai, they will put the dough in a big bucket. They'll just let it rest there. So if you order roti canai, they'll just take one and then they will do that is to rest the roti canai. So that's why roti canai tastes fluffy. You see, roti canai, they taste very fluffy, very, very soft. Okay, so that's why roti canai tastes nice. If you don't let it rest, you just knead your dough and you put it there and you just cook it. You don't rest this, it will become chapati. You know chapati, have you guys eaten chapati before? If you eat chapati and roti canai, you can taste the difference. Roti canai is very soft, it's very fluffy, but chapati, they taste flat, right? It's just like a big piece of flour. So that's the difference. But usually I will advise you guys to eat chapati. Yeah, sure, roti canai is very nice to eat, but roti canai is full of oil too. Chapati has zero oil. So that's the thing. Okay, anyway, so these are the reproduction. For every microorganism, right, for the algae, we will also learn their nutrition, habitat, and reproduction. Same goes to protozoa, we will learn that tree. Okay, I mean, this is for next few weeks. Bacteria, we will also learn their tree. And virus, we will try to learn. There's nothing here. Because as I said, virus, they have no nutrition. Virus doesn't eat. Virus, they have no habitat. They will just live they are dead. They are dead. And virus, they don't reproduce. They will only reproduce if there's a host. You see, they will stick to their host and then they will reproduce. So virus is much more easier to study. Right, so I'm not gonna do too much today. Okay, I think I finished fungi here. So it's been a very simple lesson because I know some of you are having exam. If not you, then maybe some people are still having exam. So we need to wait for everyone to finish before I can proceed with a normal speed. So this week I'm doing a more chill lesson, sort of to do a warm up, okay, before we start to speed up. I mean, next week and next week. After that, we are having Chinese New Year holiday already. So you guys come back, you guys will be chill again. So I'm just not gonna do anything too heavy lah. So if you have no more question, or you want to know about the experiment part, please kindly WhatsApp me. I will send you the experiment format, the experiment examples. Okay, I'll let you read for yourself. Okay, so if there's no question, I believe I'll end my class now. I ended my class here, so I will see you again next week. Okay, so I hope we learned something new today. Okay, I will see you again soon. I'll see you again next week. Okay, so have a happy Wednesday. I'll see you soon. Take care. See you and bye-bye.